ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानञ्जनशलाखया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्।
पदान्तकम्
वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरु श्रीयुतापत्कमलं श्रीगुरुं वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगण रघुनाथान्वितं सतं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् सहगण ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च हे कृष्णा करुणा सिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते
नमस्ते
गोपेश गोपिका कान्ता राधा कान्त
कान्ता
नमोस्तुते
नमस्ते
तप्त काञ्चन गौराङ्गी
गौराङ्गी
राधे
राधा
वृन्दावनेश्वरी
विद्यावनेश्वरी
वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये
प्रिये
वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च
कल्पतरुभ्यश्च
कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव
सिन्धुभ्यश्च
पतितानां पावनेभ्यो
भावेभ्यो
वैष्णवेभ्यो
कृष्णया
नमो नमः।
नमो नमः
हरे कृष्णा
कृष्ण हरे
हरे
कृष्णा
कृष्ण
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 हरे
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 राम
राम
हरे
हरे
राम
हरे
राम
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 हरे
राम
हरे।
हरे
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 मूकं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं
गिरं
यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे
अहं
श्रीगुरुदीनतारणं परमानन्दमाधवं श्रीकृष्णचैतन्य ईश्वरं गुर्वे गौरचन्द्राय राधिकाय तदालये कृष्णाय कृष्णभक्ताय तद्भक्ताय नमो नमः। हरे कृष्ण। Okay, let's start without any further wait. So 5.1 Karma Yoga, Action in Krishna Consciousness. So please recite after me. Arjuna Vacha
अर्जुन उवाच
उवाच
Sanyasam Karmanam Krishna Sanyasam
सन्न्यासं
सन्न्यासं
Karmanam
कर्मणां
कर्मणा
Krishna
कृष्ण
कृष्ण
Punaryogam Cha Shamsasi
पुनर्योगं
योगं
Punaryogam
च
Cha
च
शंससि
शंससि
Shamsasi Yachreya Etayorekam
यच्छ्रेय
Yachreya
श्रेया
Etayorekam
एतदेकम्
एकम्
तन्मे ब्रूहि सुनिश्चितम्
तन्मे
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 ब्रूहि
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 सुनिश्चितम्
सुनिश्चितम्.
सुनिश्चितम्
सुनिश्चितम्।
Can somebody read the translation?
I can read Mataji.
Yes. Mom,
Translation.
I'm not your Mataji. So elders don't have to say that. Go ahead. Mhm.
Arjuna said, "O Krishna, first of all, you ask me to renounce work, and then again you recommend work with devotion. Now, will you kindly tell me definitely which of the two is more beneficial?"
Okay. So just give me a minute. Let's look at the Sanskrit very quick and then we'll read the purport. So Arjun is speaking here. He's asking, he's confused at the end of chapter 4 because Krishna talked a lot about knowledge. Okay, remember chapter 4 was called Divya Gyan or transcendental knowledge. So Krishna gave a lot of stress on acquiring knowledge in chapter 4. So, and then towards the end, in the last few verses, Krishna said, act in that knowledge. Okay. Typically, when we think of acquiring knowledge, we think that we are not supposed to work, we are not supposed to act, we are not supposed to do anything. Okay. There is no action involved. We are just acquiring knowledge, like we are reading scriptures or we are hearing from our teachers, from our acharyas, but we are not doing any work. So, when Krishna was talking about knowledge, Arjun took it to mean that we don't have to do anything. So he said, first of all, you talked about sannyasam karmanam Krishna. Oh Krishna, it seems like you talked about taking sannyas from karma. Sannyas means to give up, to or tyag, renunciation of work. It seemed like you talked about renouncing the work. But then again, you talked about yogam, meaning working, connecting, acting. Yoga means to act in service, right? To work in service. So now it seems like you're talking about working. Hmm? Shamsasi. So you are praising, you are appreciating working or connecting in service. Yet Shreya Etayor, between these two, Etayor means between these two, Ekam, which one is Shreya, which one is better, which one is more beneficial for me? So please tell me out of these two, whether renouncing work or working in renunciation, working in service, which one is better? Tanme bruhi. Bruhi is the Sanskrit word that you can remember. I know some of you are trying to collect the Sanskrit words that you can memorize, like you can keep in your dictionary. So bruhi means to speak. So please speak to me. Nishchitam, for sure. Tell me definitely. Okay. Nishchit, okay. With, for definitely, for sure. Su means for sure, for real. Very definitely tell me what is one out of these two that's better. Which one out of these two is better? Okay. Renouncing work or working with renunciation, meaning yoga. Which one is better for me? So, this is Arjuna's question. First of all, you ask me to renounce work, then again, you recommend work or yoga with devotion, with service, you can say. So, which of these two is more beneficial? So, let's read Prabhupada's purport. You can continue, Mom.
In this fifth chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, the Lord says that work in devotional service is better than dry mention speculation. Devotional service is easier than the latter because, being transcendental in nature, it frees one from reaction. In the second chapter, preliminary knowledge of the soul and its entanglement in the material body were explained. How to get out of this material engagement by Buddhi Yoga or devotional service was also explained therein. In the third chapter, it was explained that a person who is situated on the platform of knowledge no longer has any duties to perform. And in the fourth chapter, the Lord told Arjun that all kinds of sacrificial work culminate in knowledge. However, at the end of the fourth chapter, the Lord advises Arjuna to wake up and fight, being situated in perfect knowledge. Therefore, by simultaneously stressing the importance of both work in devotion and inaction in knowledge, Krishna has perplexed Arjuna and confused his determination. Arjun understands that renunciation in knowledge involves cessation of all kinds of work performed as sense activities. But if one performs work in devotional service, then how is work stopped? In other words, he thinks that sannyasa or renunciation in knowledge should be altogether free from all kinds of activity because, sorry, uske niche ka nahi aa raha. Because work and renunciation appear to him to be incompatible. He appears not to have understood that work in full knowledge is non reactive and is therefore the same as inaction. He inquires, therefore, whether he should ease work altogether, cease work altogether, or work with full knowledge. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So Prabhupada is explaining the dilemma or the confusion that Arjun has right now. First of all, Prabhupada has summarized the main sense of each chapter. Okay. So we know that in chapter 2, Krishna had talked about Sankhya Yoga, which we were discussing in the temple yesterday. What is the original position of the Jiva? Who is the Jiva? What is his identity? How is he related to the Supreme Lord and not to this world? All those things were mentioned in second chapter. So if you see here, Prabhupada says, preliminary knowledge of the soul was given, right? The fundamental knowledge of the soul, very basic knowledge. And its entanglement in the material body, like how we are stuck in this body and thus facing so many disturbances that we have to tolerate. And how to get out of this material engagement by Buddhi Yoga was also explained in chapter 2. Chapter 2, then we'll talk about Karma Yoga or Buddhi Yoga to some extent. Third chapter, Karma Yoga, was explained more, and Krishna had mentioned that people um, that are on the platform of knowledge actually do not have any work to perform. He gave example of Janak Maharaj, that people that are very advanced, like pure souls, liberated souls, if you become that advanced, then you don't need to work in this world. You don't need to do any actions. You are beyond any karma in this world. And fourth chapter, Krishna described what that knowledge is, how can one get that knowledge, how Krishna comes every so often to re-establish that knowledge in this world, and how we should submit to an acharya, a teacher, to get that knowledge. But in the end of fourth chapter, Krishna said to act in that knowledge. And Arjun is confused because he thinks that when one is in knowledge, you don't have to act. So what does it mean by acting in the knowledge? So let's understand this. Let's understand Arjuna's confusion, because we won't understand rest of the chapter unless we understand what Arjun is confused about. So I'm going to open my whiteboard and write some things. Can you see my whiteboard? So I'm hoping everyone can see. Okay. So here, um, this is what Arjun is thinking. Krishna talked about knowledge. Okay. Arjun is assuming that when one is in knowledge, they basically give up work. Okay. So that means renouncing work. So, like great sannyasis and all, they will stop their professional activities and they will renounce work. They may go to forest, they may take very strict ascetic lifestyle, right? They may give up their family and the social engagements or working in the community or country, etc. So basically, if somebody becomes very knowledgeable, very learned, Arjun is assuming that that person will renounce work. That knowledge means renouncing work. Okay. So that's why Prabhupada said in purport that to Arjun, knowledge and working together seem incompatible. Okay. He thinks that when one is in knowledge, one renounces work. Okay. But so he's saying, okay, so now let's understand the concept or like what Krishna wants us to do also. So Arjun is saying, should I renounce work? This is what Arjun is asking. Should I renounce work? Okay. Be in situated in knowledge. Should I renounce work? Versus should I work with renunciation? Work with renunciation. Okay, renunciation means work with the feeling of tyag, work with the feeling of um, service. Okay, work with a feeling of devotion. So you can also call this karma yoga. Working with renunciation is basically karma yoga or nishkam karma or karma yoga, where one does not get any reactions, right? Working with renunciation. Should I work with renunciation where I do not want any results, where I do not want any fruits or benefits of that karma? This is called work with renunciation. We can also call it work with devotion. Okay, work with devotion. We can also call it karma yoga. And in last chapter, Krishna also called it, I don't want to confuse you, but he also called it inaction in action. Such work which does not generate any reaction. This is the smart work that we discussed in last couple chapters, right? Such action which does not give any reaction. So should I work like that, or should I just give up all the work altogether? Stop working altogether. So as you will see in this chapter, in next few verses, Krishna will say that working with renunciation, with the feeling of renunciation, working with this bhav of tyag, of service, of seva, of devotion, okay, and not getting any reactions, which is called karma yoga, this is better than renouncing work, okay. This renouncing of work, most people, they will give up their work prematurely. Okay, prematurely means when they are not ready to give up work. Why would somebody give up work? Maybe they're frustrated with their job, maybe they're frustrated with their boss, maybe they're very malignant work environment, right? Where maybe they're facing a lot of difficulties at work, a lot of complications. Maybe they have very difficult hours, so they may get very frustrated or very fearful work situation, a lot of stress at work, a lot of anxiety, right? So because of some worldly reasons, because of some ordinary reason, not for the purpose of self-realization, but most people will give up work prematurely, not for the purpose of pleasing Krishna or engaging in service of Krishna or satisfying Krishna. That's not the reason when they give up work. Most people will give up work out of frustration, out of difficulties with the work. Okay. So that is called prematurely giving up work. So when you prematurely give up work, and let's say you start neglecting your duties, like Prabhupada often gives in third chapter, he was giving example of how a mother, let's say, she does not cook in the kitchen in the hot summer season because, um, we're not talking about our kind of houses that are centrally air conditioned, but let's say in India, in Delhi, in Vrindavan, well, not even Delhi, but in some villages, let's say when it's very, very hot, the kitchen may become really super hot. So she will say, oh, because it's so hot that I'm not going to cook today, right? So that's basically neglecting your duty, not facing the disturbance that comes as part of doing work. They are just neglecting their work. So neglecting your duty, irresponsibly giving up work, not doing your due diligence, that is actually a problem. Okay, that will generate negative reactions, that will give you bad reactions, bad karma. Okay, it will generate bad, sinful reactions for you because you are neglecting your duty. Some duty was assigned to you. You were the one who was trained to do something. Like here, Arjun is trained to fight in this war. As a Kshatriya, it is his responsibility to rid the earth of these miscreants, of these power hungry rulers. So if he does not do that work, if he runs away from this battlefield, then he will actually get negative or sinful reactions or bad reactions. So prematurely giving up work when you are not advanced, when you are not self-realized, when you do not have the reason is not to please Krishna, the reason is not to satisfy his will, but just giving up work whimsically, like Prabhupada always uses this word whimsically, for no good reason, for ordinary mundane reasons, then that will generate you bad reaction. So this type of renunciation of work is not needed. Okay. Of course, at some point of time, like when you get older, when it's time to when you should focus more and more on self-realization, then one should renounce work. Or some people take to brahmacharya ashram even when they're younger because they have that tendency for, let's say, religious scholarship. They want to teach, they want to preach, they want to learn the scriptures, and then they want to train themselves in it. So then they renounce work for a higher cause, for a higher purpose, to spread this knowledge. So that's a very specific branch of people, right? And that is done with great care and guidance of very advanced seniors and other liberated souls, other pure souls that will guide them. But you do not whimsically, 99% people are supposed to engage in work and not whimsically or prematurely give up work. So, anyways, Arjun's confusion is whether I should renounce work or I should work with renunciation, because he thought that getting knowledge means just renouncing work. Following the path of knowledge means just renouncing work. So, let's see, we'll actually move a little bit because Krishna will give these answers and Prabhupada's purports will also clarify them for you. So let's go to the next, and then we'll discuss a few. After a few, we'll discuss them all together again. Let's see what Krishna will answer to Arjun. 5.2. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha.
Shri
Shri Bhagavan
Bhagavan
Uvacha.
Uvacha
Sannyasa Karma Yogascha.
Sannyasa
Sannyasa Karma
Karma
Yogascha.
Yogasya
Nishreyasa Karabhubhau. Nishreyasa
Nishreyasa
Karabhubhau.
Karabhau
तयोस्तु कर्म संन्यासात्
Tayostu Karma
संन्यासात्
Sannyasat
कर्मयोगो विशिष्यते
Karma Yogo
कर्मयोगो
Vishyate.
विशिष्यते. Can someone read the translation?
Can I read?
Yes.
Translation. The personality of God had replied, the renunciation of work and work in devotion are both good for liberation. But of the two, work in devotional service is better than renunciation of work.
So here Krishna is directly giving the answer to Arjun. There is no hesitation on Krishna's part. He's not, he's very clear in his instructions here on what is better. So he says, Bhagwan Uvacha, Shri Personality of the Supreme Personality of Godhead said, Sannyasa Karma, so Karma Sannyas or renouncing of the work, and yoga means working in devotion or working in service, Karma Yoga, and sannyas, either path. I'm sorry, I keep hitting this. Either path are they will lead to nishreyasa. Nishreyasa means they will lead to liberation. They will both lead to liberation from this world. So renouncing work. Now, when Krishna says renouncing work, he's talking about a pure soul renouncing their work. Okay. Otherwise, remember that it will lead to bad reactions. So he's talking about renouncing work for the sake of self-realization, of course, right? Or working with renunciation, karma yoga. Both path. Now, ubhau is also a very common Sanskrit word that is repeated many times. Like Arjun said to Krishna, Senayor ubhayor madhye ratham sthapita me achyuta. He said that, oh Achyut, please take my rath, my chariot, in the midst of the two armies. So when two things are mentioned, ubhau word comes. So here Krishna is saying between the two, both will actually lead to liberation. Okay, both are good paths, renouncing work or working in renunciation. But now, if you're asking me for one, tayos tu. So between the two, but tu means but between the two, compared to karma sannyas, whenever this dhatu, this verb comes, karma sannyasat. At means better than karma sannyas is karma yogo. Karma yog is better, vishishyate. So better than karma sannyas, meaning better than giving up work, is better than karma yog or working in renunciation. So Krishna is very clearly mentioning both can lead to liberation, but between the two, karma yoga is better. Okay, working in devotion is better. So again, remember that Krishna is, Bhagavad Gita is for the masses. Okay, so we are not talking about self-realized souls. So, like in third chapter, Janak Maharaj's example is given. We are not talking about the Mahajans, the pure devotees, the liberated souls. If Krishna here said that sannyas, karma sannyas is good, then maximum people will take it to mean, okay, we don't need to work. So they will prematurely start taking sannyas from work. They will prematurely give up work, and they will not give up work because they want self-realization or they want to preach or they want to um, spread spiritual knowledge and Bhagavad Gita knowledge in this world. They will take sannyas from work. They will renounce work because they're just too lazy. They just don't want to wake up in the morning to go to work. They don't want to deal with the disturbances that they will inevitably face during the course of working, right? During the course of working, inevitably there will be problems. You will have to deal with difficult people. There will be complications. There will be stress. There will be anxiety. There will be difficult hours, whatnot. So they don't want to deal with all that. So they will give up work prematurely for the wrong reason, not for the purpose of self-realization. That's why Krishna is not, this path is not recommended for masses. Okay. For masses, they should be working to gradually purify themselves. They need to come to that platform where they are so pure that ultimately when we do have to aim for that actually as sadhakas, as devotees. We should not think that I'm going to work all my life. We have to become that pure gradually that after 50, after 55, we maximize our spiritual activities where we start increasing the spiritual activities, start keeping them more and more in the center and start reducing our peripheral secondary activities and keep the primary purpose. Remember, we talked about it yesterday. Keep the main thing the main thing. So the main thing can become bigger in our life, that has to expand in our life as we get older. And we have to decrease our secondary peripheral professional activities or social engagements or community engagements or bodily, engagements. Those things have to decrease gradually. But until one becomes that pure, until one advances that much, we should gradually purify ourselves by engaging our mind, our senses, our intelligence, our skill set, our talents in working. And then whatever, but working here is not just working like people work in this world. Working here is, this is again 99.9% people are not working in karma yoga. They are just karmis. Okay. So there are karmis and there are karma yogis. Maximum people are karmis. They just go to work, they make money, they hoard that money, or they spend some money for enjoyment, on their own enjoyment, or at the maximum enjoyment of their family members. Maybe they will do some charity, some social work out of gaining some piety. Even then, they want something in return, like some pious reactions or good results in future for themselves. So ultimately, everything is just basically very self-centered, very for just personal gains and benefits. But the karma yoga means to work in service. So we are not saying, Krishna is not saying to just spend your life in working like a karmi. He's saying to work with the intention of service, with the intention of pleasing the Lord, all the work that you do, how you engage your mind, your senses, your skill sets, your talents, all that is absorbed in service to Krishna. Your work, whether you are a lawyer, teacher, a scientist, an astronaut, whatever that is, that has to be as service. And then whatever fruits you get, right? You get some money. So then you go buy groceries, right? From Whole Foods, then you make prashadam with that grocery. Whatever money you get, then you contribute some for expanding the spiritual activities around you. Maybe you will give some money for some Krishna conscious activities to build a temple or for some donations, right? So in this way, even that money is purified through service, through Krishna conscious activities. So the karma yoga, remember that remember the intricacies of both these things. Karma sannyas here is not referring to um, whimsically neglecting one's duties. Okay, it is referring to people that give up that renounce work when they're ready. Okay, and karma or karma yoga here is not referring just to a fruitive karma or sense enjoyment type of karma, but rather to karma yoga. Okay. So please remember this distinction when you read this verse. So between the path of giving up karma versus or renouncing karma versus working with renunciation, Krishna is saying working with renunciation with the feeling of service, sacrifice, and gratitude is better. Let's read the purport. This is a very, very beautiful purport. It's amazing, this purport. Please read, pay attention to each and every line.
Should I continue?
Yes, you can read this. I'll recite these verses once you come to them.
Okay. Purport. Fruitive activities seeking sense gratification are cause for material bondage. As long as one is engaged in activities aimed at improving the standard of bodily comfort, one is sure to transmigrate to different types of bodies, thereby continuing material bondage perpetually. Srimad Bhagavatam 5.5.6, 5.46 confirms this as follows.
So just to highlight, this chapter I was mentioning just a few days back, I think in one of the classes, I told you in Srimad Bhagavatam there are three very important chapters that Prabhupada quotes a lot. You have heard 1.2 being quoted a lot, right? First canto, second chapter. You have heard 7.6, Prahlad Maharaj's teachings to his demonic schoolmates being quoted a lot, right? Seventh canto, sixth chapter. Then the third chapter that Prabhupada quotes a lot is 5.5. Okay, this is Rishabh Dev's teachings to his sons. So Rishabh Dev is one of the forms of the Lord, and this is his teachings. Here he is discussing what we discussed yesterday in the temple, that if your activities are just for sense gratification, just for enjoyment, what is called fruitive activities, just like I was describing, they will only cause material bondage, meaning you will continue in the cycle of birth and death. You will keep coming back because for these activities, karmis will keep getting reactions. Okay. Karma yoga does not get reaction, but karmi will get reactions. As long as you keep getting reactions, okay, then you will keep coming back to face those reactions. And so, if your goal is to just improve the standard of bodily comfort, you will be sure to transmigrate to different bodies. So here Rishabh Dev is saying in Bhagavatam 5.5, Nunam pramatha kurute vikarma yad indriya pritaya apranoti na sadhu manne yatatmanoyam asan api kleshada asadeha. I'll skip the second one. This third one is very important. एवं मना कर्म वशं प्रयुङ्क्ते अवेद्ययात्मनि उपद्यमाने प्रीतिर्न यावन्मयि वासुदेवे नामोच्यते देहयोगेन तावत्. These two lines you should learn and you should inscribe in your heart, okay, in your brain. So, what is he saying here? Here he's saying, Preetir na yavan mai Vasudeve. Until one must develop love for Vasudev. Rishabdev is saying one must, through whatever activities one does, one must develop love for the service or love for Vasudev. Until then, until you have that, na muchyate deha yogena thavat. Until then, you cannot get freed from this deha, from the bondage of this body. So you will keep getting the body. So the last gate to get out of this material world is Krishna Prem. Only then one can get freed from the bondage of material existence. Other than getting love for Vasudev, whatever things you are doing in this world for sense gratification, for material benefits, for personal gains, for securing your position, making it better and better in this world, doing charities just for mundane charity. Mundane means ordinary charity, meaning I'll do something for someone and one day, I'll get something back in return because I want positive karma. So, yes, you will get positive karma, but you will have to come back in a body to get that positive karma. So, in this type of consciousness will keep you here until you get Krishna Prem. So, to act out of fruitive benefits, act out of sense gratification, acting out of making your material position comfortable in this world will only keep acquiring you newer and newer bodies. So can you please read this?
Yes. People are mad after sense gratification, and they do not know that this present body, which is full of miseries, is a result of one's fruitive activities in the past. Although this body is temporary, it is always giving one trouble in many ways. Therefore, to act for sense gratification is not good. One is considered to be a failure in life as long as he makes no inquiry about his real identity. As long as he does not know his real identity, he has to work for the fruitive results for sense gratification, and as long as one is engrossed in the consciousness of sense gratification, one has to transmigrate from one body to another. Although the mind may be engrossed in fruitive activities and influenced by ignorance, and one must develop a love for devotional service to Vasudeva. Only then one can have the opportunity to get out of the bondage of material existence. Hari Bol.
So this is what we were discussing again yesterday, going back to the basics. One must make inquiry about his real identity. So the one's life is considered to be a failure as long as he makes no inquiry about his real identity. And when he does not know his real identity, he will work for. So everything starts from knowing who you are. If you don't know who you are, what your real identity is, you will act from that platform, right? So let's say I go to the hospital and I think I'm a janitor there. Okay. I am qualified to be a doctor. Okay. I trained to be a doctor. Somehow I've forgotten that. Somehow I forgot that I'm a doctor. Somebody hit me on the head. I forgot. And I start thinking that I'm a janitor. So what do? I go there and start cleaning. I'm an orderly there, so I just start changing sheets and cleaning the rooms. Okay, I could have contributed in a much different way. Of course, this is a very crude analogy, so no offense, but I could have contributed in a different way, right? But forgetting my original position, forgetting my original situation, I am now following a different path altogether. So unless you know who you are, you will work on a different path. So, since people do not know who they are, they do not know they are servants of the Lord, they do not know they have forgotten their relationship with Krishna, they have forgotten that they are actually Krishna's children, his servants, his part and parcel. So, they are not operating from that platform of service and love for the Lord and love for the people. They are operating from the platform of I am this body, so I should do everything for this body and people that are related to this body and the designations of this body. So that's why I am very partial to people that are brown or Indian like me. I'm very partial to people that are female. So that's why feminism comes up. Or I'm very partial to people that live in Tennessee because I'm a Tennessonian. Or all these designations and distinctions and identifications that we have attached to the body, they will all start coming up. Why? Because that's who we think we are. Because I think I'm this body, so my body and bodily identifications is how I'm working in this world. So I'm just working for the comfort of this body because I think I'm this body, right? So I'm just making this position comfortable. I'm just acquiring all the opulences, all the money, power, name, fame, followers for this body because this is who I think I am. But as soon as we flip the switch, as soon as we come in contact with Bhagavad Gita, with knowledge of with devotees, we understand, oh, hey, I'm not this body. I'm actually servant of the Lord. I'm actually, I have forgotten. I just remember I'm actually a son of Krishna. I'm a child of Krishna. I need to be working in this world with that mentality. So then suddenly the karmi will become karmi yogi. Now he goes to work, but his intention, his mindset is different. Now he's not just going to collect money. He will contribute that money for some spiritual activities, for some donations. He will eat prashadam. He will start speaking Harikatha. He'll start reading Bhagavad Gita. He will start hearing and reading Srimad Bhagavatam, right? He will make his home not a place to party, but a place to hold kirtan, to have satsang, to invite devotees, to feed devotees, right? So the whole everything will become service. His work will become service. His family members will be engaged in service. He will start making his this whole country, this city, Vrindavan, right? So that's the change in mindset as soon as we know who we are. So everything starts from who we are. That's why I was paying so much stress yesterday on that. And that's called Sankhya Yoga, understanding that we are spirit, not matter. Can somebody read the rest of this purport?
Can I read, Mataji?
Yes, Mataji.
Therefore, jnana or knowledge that one is not this material body but spirit soul is not sufficient for liberation. One has to act in the status of spirit soul. Otherwise, there is no escape from material bondage. Action in Krishna consciousness is not, however, action on the fruitive platform. Activities performed in full knowledge strengthen one's advancement in real knowledge. Without Krishna consciousness, mere renunciation of fruitive activity does not actually purify the heart of a conditioned soul. As long as heart is not purified, one has to work on fruitive platform. But action in Krishna consciousness automatically helps one escape the result of fruitive action so that one need not descend to the material platform. Therefore, action in Krishna consciousness is always superior to renunciation, which always entails a risk of falling. Renunciation without Krishna consciousness is incomplete, as is confirmed by Srila Rupa Goswami in his Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu 1.2.258.
Skip the word.
When persons eager to achieve liberation renounce things related to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, thinking them to be material, their renunciation is called incomplete. Renunciation is complete when it is in knowledge that everything in existence belongs to the Lord and that no one should claim proprietorship over anything. One should understand that factually nothing belongs to anyone. Then where is the question of renunciation? One who knows that everything is Krishna's property is always situated in renunciation. Since everything belongs to Krishna, everything should be employed in the service of Krishna. This perfect form of action in Krishna consciousness is far better than any amount of artificial renunciation by a sannyasi of Mayavadi school. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Okay, so let's understand the second part of the purport. I think first part is clear, that working for sense gratification or personal benefits is called fruitive activity, which will generate results. Okay. Then let's take the second part of this purport, very important. So, like I was saying, this purport is very important. Here, what is Prabhupada saying? So okay, there are different two types of people. Okay. One type of people are, so we discussed that they will renounce work. Okay. They will renounce work. Renounce work or renouncing things like giving up their job, okay, giving up family, giving up country, living in a jungle, forest, something like that. So this is not the best, Krishna is saying, right? You heard that. Krishna said between the two, working in renunciation is better. Work with renunciation is better. So what happens is when we renounce work, okay, this type of path is typically followed by people that are very desirous of liberation. Okay, such people are typically very frustrated with the world. They have seen they are self-realized people. Okay, now we are talking about self-realized people. We're not talking about whimsical people who are neglecting their duty, but self-realized souls who know that they have to get liberated. Okay, so these people are called mumukshu. Okay, they are interested in moksha or mukti or salvation. So they typically take to this path of liberation, of giving up things because they realize that this world is not their place. So the first concept is clear to them. They know that they are not of this world. So they always say neti. They say neti. Neti means I'm not this body, I'm not this mind, I'm not this brain, I'm not this heart, not I'm not this, okay? I'm not this. So anything that they come in contact with, they basically uh, negate it, they basically give it up, okay? It is called giving up. They give up everything, okay? They remove everything from their life, okay? So basically they go into negative. They go into negative. They give up everything, okay? Sorry, they go into zero. They go into not negative, they go into zero. They go into shunya, like shunyavadis. They give up everything. Okay, we don't want to use anything of this world because they say everything should be shunned. Everything should be everything is matter, so everything is very contaminated. And as soon as you come in contact with matter, it will also contaminate you, it will also entangle you. So I don't want to touch any money, I don't want to be with the family because there are so many problems being with the family. I don't want to work because there are so many problems with work. Everything is entangling, everything causes reactions. Since everything causes reaction, then entanglement, bondage, I will give up everything and I will take to zero. I will not have anything. Okay, zero. So they give up things, okay? They do not see any utility in the material things. But the other aspect is, okay, which Prabhupada is describing, okay? So these people are Vairagi. They take to Vairagya, they are Vairagi. But what is recommended is something called Yukta Vairagya, okay? Yukta Vairagya means to understand that even matter, even material energy, even the world, the body is given by Krishna, is made by Krishna. It is Krishna's property. Okay, to understand, it is Krishna's property, it is Krishna's money, it is Krishna's people, it is Krishna's talents and skills and opulences that we have been given. And then to use those things, to engage those things in service of Krishna. Okay, knowing who is the real master, knowing that this is Krishna's property, he is the real master. I am his servant. I have been told to become an instrument in his service. Okay, so I am going to work in this world, but as his servant, doing his will. Okay, just like Krishna can very easily fight this war and win this battle in a blink of an eye. But Krishna wants Arjun to become his instrument in this service. Nimitta matrabha sabyasachi, Krishna says. So he wants him to become his instrument. Like I'm using this pen as my instrument, right? I'm not saying I'm going to give up all the pen, all the laptop is always contaminating, the phone is contaminating because phone can have all these useless things. Devotee will say, I will use everything. Everything can become an instrument of service for Krishna because everything is property of Krishna. It is not mine to give up. How can I give up something? Okay, this concept of giving up is false, is wrong, because how can I give up something that does not belong to me? So, by giving up something, you are saying that it belonged to you in the first place. That as if this job is yours to give up, as if this family is yours to give up, as if this money is yours to give up. It is you should use it, but you should use it in a detached way, in a dispassionate way, knowing fully well who is the real master. Okay, it's like if a master gives his servant, $10, go buy me, or like $100, go buy me some groceries, right? So now the servant is going to go on behalf of master as his representative, as his instrument to the grocery store and buy the grocery for that $100. He cannot give up that $100 because that is not his money to give up. So how can he give it up? He was supposed to use that to do something beautiful with it. He cannot just give it. He was supposed to bring back groceries and make food with it, make bhoga for the master. But he did not do that. He just gave it up. How can you just give it up? This was given to you for a purpose. Everything in the material world, material energy is the energy of Krishna. It has a value. It has a purpose. The body is the temple of Krishna. The world is a pilgrimage of Krishna. It has to be used in service of Krishna. But the difference between these people and karmi is they're not using it for their enjoyment, right? They know the supreme enjoyer, the supreme master is Krishna. Whereas what is a karmi doing? A karmi person, a fruitive worker, he is working for his sense gratification, thinking, I am the enjoyer, I am the master, I can exert lordship over this world. So with the money that I earn, this is all for me, me, me. So this is me-centered life. Okay. This is Krishna-centered life. This is called Yukta Vairagya, using everything in service of Krishna and giving it up, but in service of Krishna, in a detached way. And this just means giving up everything, just removing things from your life, not using them at all. So this is zero, but this is positive. The beauty of positive engagement is this is positive engagement. Okay. Uh, Positive engagement is that it is a more joyful process. Okay. Remember, the soul is supposed to be joyful, right? Anand. Anandamayo. So the soul's nature is to be joyful. Soul's nature is also to love. Soul's nature is also to serve. So this is the typical characteristic of the soul's nature, that soul is joyful and it has the most joy in love and service of the Lord. So there is joy in this process, there is love and service in this process. Whereas in this process, it's very difficult, it's very tedious process, it's very difficult. That's why Prabhupada is saying that there is more chances of falling, because just giving up things does not give anyone joy. It does not bring any positivity to your life, because you just removed everything. You made everything zero, shunya. So there is no joy in one's life. Whereas this is positive, so it brings joy, love, happiness, service, feeling of gratitude, positive divine values, mercy in your life. Whereas this is here there is more chances of failing, because there is no purpose, there is no service, it's very hard to follow this. So for now, just hold these principles in your heart and let's keep moving, if that's okay.
So, Mataji, I have a question here.
Yes, Prabhu.
Mataji, so many IITians and well-educated people, they are directly joining into the sannyasas. And I'm seeing some of them in YouTube. They are even in Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Rama
Right.
thing. But if they are going, and some of them are there following without marriage, and I saw more IITians
I
and
got your
NIT.
question, Prabhu. Yes, I can. So yes, Prabhu, very valid question, very important. So as you understand, in our scriptures, the four ashrams or the four spiritual orders are mentioned, right? You know that brahmacharya, then grihasthashram, vanprasth, and sannyas, right? So brahmacharya, grihasth, vanprasth, and sannyas. So the young people that you're talking about, they are not sannyasis, they're brahmacharis. Okay, so brahmachari is the first ashram. Everybody should be in brahmachari ashram, actually all the children. So brahmachari basically means to acquire knowledge, to practice celibate life. Celibacy means no sex life, right? So no sex life, very regulated, disciplined life, which we also see, right? Kids go to school or boarding school, they follow a very strict regime, very disciplined. They're supposed to be disciples, following a very disciplined lifestyle. But the main thing is they should be earning some spiritual knowledge as brahmacharis. Now, what happens when they reach a certain age? They have a choice to either continue if they have that inclination for religious scholarship, or becoming more advanced in the religious knowledge, spiritual knowledge. They want to preach. If they have that Brahmanical tendencies and qualities, then some of those children, some of those especially boys, may decide to stay in brahmachari ashram. And some of them, actually maximum of them, 99% of them will become grahasthas. Okay, because everybody has some inclination for sense gratification. In grahastha ashram, some limited or regulated sense gratification is allowed. As you know, we are all grahasthas here, right? So we have some, grahastha ashram has more leeway. Brahmachari ashram is very strict. Not everybody can follow, because that brahmachari life of being celibate all your life has to be followed. Not everybody can do that. No sex life all your life. So they cannot make any money. So they are completely dependent on the institution which they are representing to support them. They have no money for food or to maintain themselves. They may get some allowance from the institution, very limited, but they cannot make any money. They cannot go anywhere. They have a very rigorous lifestyle. They're supposed to be preaching. They're full-time preachers typically. They cannot go anywhere, travel like we do, right? Have vacations. They do not have any family. Like, they may have their parents that they can visit every so often, but they are not allowed to have any family. They cannot have any wife or children, right? So it's a very austere tapo divya life, okay, full of tapasya. This life is not meant for everyone. This life is for certain select people, which will be decided by. So first of all, that child, that youth should have inclination to follow such a rigorous lifestyle. Okay, he will discuss this with a board of members, like a group of people who will decide whether this child is capable of that or not. Even then, they will give him a certain time period. Like, let's say you try this for next 3 years, see if this life is something you can follow. If they, after the end of that time period, they say, or even during that time period, they say, hey, I would rather go into grahasthashram, then they go into grahasthashram. So it's a lot of care that is taken into going into this brahmachari ashram that you're talking about. And very few people um, take to that path. As to your question, many IITians and all go. Yes, because in India, the culture is that everybody gets pushed into the rat race. So nobody was brought up as a brahmachari child. They went to schools and colleges, and they took up some. They were intelligent, so they went into IIT, or they went into engineering, or even medicine. I know people that have given up medicine also. They went into those, but when they started learning the spiritual knowledge, they actually realized that their guna and karma, their qualities, their tendency does not fit with this mood of, let's say, engineering or business. Whichever path they initially chose, they realize that they will not be able to serve that path properly for all their life, and rather they would follow the path of brahmachari. And that brahmachari path, which is actually more rigorous than an IITian's lifestyle. As IITian, they could have made a lot of money, they could have had family, they could have traveled, they could have lived in US, could have so many facilities, big cars, many cars. Brahmacharis don't have any cars or their own homes. They live in a small, not even hardly one bed fits there in that room. So
But when we see from outside, they are giving up the work, and their full-time job is preaching, and with very neat one cloth, one type of cloth. But when we see
same
from
cloth.
outside as a people, then we are thinking that is easy. I know whatever you explained, but when you see from outside, I'm thinking, wait, that is easy. Without doing the job, preaching is easy.
That's why
So,
everyone should try brahmacharya ashram for a few years and see if that's easy.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So that's why in our previous ages, they used to, the kids were brought up as brahmachari, and not many will continue. Most people will take up grahasthashram. So again, remember that we are talking about some self-realized souls who are very advanced can give up work. So these people have been determined by their seniors, and after a great deliberation on their part, that they want to follow this path. So they're not same as somebody whimsically. We feel it's easy because we want to give up work. We don't want to work because we are seeing difficulties in work. So we are trying to give up whimsically, but they are not giving up whimsically. They're giving it for a higher cause, investing their life, in service of the Lord with body, mind, and words. So that's not easy. We think it's easy because everything seems greener on the opposite side. But it's actually a very hard, austere path. So unless we reach that platform where we are ready to dedicate all our life to Lord, like these people are doing, we should not give up work. So if your reason of giving up work is just some frustration, you'll be back very quick. Like let's say we go to Dham for 6 months. Try spending time for 6 months or 1 year. We'll still go there and not we'll be eating chaat and golgappa and just traveling, right? Uh, you would be missing your wife, or I'd be missing my daughter, or I would want my car again, or I want the pollution-free atmosphere, and I want the comfort of my bed again. So. Yeah, so we just try to run away from things. They are not running away from things, they're running towards Krishna. Our goal when we give up things is to run away from the world and not necessarily to run towards Krishna. They are giving their life in service of Krishna. It's like a soldier giving his life for country, or so it's not the same.
Correct. And one more thing, my peers and software engineers, around 60%, they're ready to give up, but they are not able to. Because of stress, they're ready to give up work, but not able to because of a trap, means family, life, they are struggling a lot.
So, Prabhu, that's a little different. Giving up, like I was saying, again, understand if your work is very harassing, very stressful, then maybe we need to make adjustments in that work. Maybe we need to change our line of work. Maybe we need to find a different job. Because remember, we have to keep the spiritual path in the center of our existence. If your work is so busy, so stressful, so difficult, very difficult people, malignant type of people that harass you constantly, then that work will make it difficult to follow a spiritual life. Okay. So our work should be feeding, nourishing our spiritual life. It should not become a burden on us. You should be able to make some money, should be able to support some family, and you should have ample time for spiritual practices with the kind of work you have. So if they are just giving up work, does not mean anything out of stress or they just need to adjust their work. They need to fix their hours or have some, a different type of job or different company, or these kind of adjustments they need to make to have so that the material and spiritual life can run in a balanced way, right? Material life needs to feed the spiritual life. It should not take away from spiritual life. For maximum people, their material life is so harrowing, so harassing that they don't have any time for spiritual life. It should not be like that. We should have a time where we can wake up in the morning, chant some holy names. We can read some Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam at least a little bit in the evening or morning or on the weekends, right? We should be able to make prasad, offer prasad, like that. We need to have spiritual life as the center of our existence. So when you are young in the early age, it's okay to be ambitious and have a lot of material endeavors going on. But as you get older, we need, like our elders used to say, right, get settled. We need to get settled in our material life. If you're still very unsettled in your material life, then that's a problem. We need to get settled in our material life as early as possible so we can start nourishing our spiritual life. So we have to become slowly more and more spiritually ambitious and less materially consumed and preoccupied. Right now, we are very materially preoccupied and completely consumed. So that's a different mindset. That cannot be compared with the mindset of a sadhu or a brahmachari. These brahmacharis you are seeing, they're all sadhus. We cannot compare with our difficulties with them. Our giving up work is on a very low platform, very low principle. Like Arjun is trying to run away from war. This is a very low principle. He's not running away um, for the big cause. He's running away because he does not want to he does not want to do his work.
Yeah, yes.
Right? So that's why we are also running away. We don't want to get up on a Monday morning and go. We don't want to deal with our boss, right, who's complaining, or a colleague that's complaining. We don't want to write 10 emails or things like that. Those are the things we are running away from, not because we have any love or attraction to Krishna. These people have very sincere love and attraction to Krishna, and they live a very very austere life which we cannot even imagine. So there are some behind the scenes sneak peek videos of the sadhu, how sadhus live, and it's very we probably we cannot even sustain that life for maybe even 5 days.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
so that's why when we come into like you are now, to ordinary people, it may seem very baffling. These people give up work because they think, oh, IITians have a very high status and sadhus have a very low status. But this is Kali Yuga. In other yugas, sadhus had very high status, and all the IITians and all these MD, MBBS, PhDs will be serving the sadhus, right? In other yugas. Because they were really learned scholars. So these people that we're talking about, they're learned, scholarly people that have given up their life in service of Krishna. So their platform, for us devotees, should be very high in our mind. If you even see such a sadhu, you will become purified. What to speak of, if that sadhu speaks back to you or gives you blessings or you touch their feet. So, so
Thank
that's
you,
that's
Mother.
high their platform is. Yes, Prabhu, very nice question. Thanks for asking such questions.
Yes, yes. Thank you.
Let's do maybe one or two more. It helps to expand the conversation, so I really like the questions. Let's do one or two more. See this next one. 5.3. Geyasa nitya sannyasi. Geyasa nitya sannyasi. Yo na dveshti na kankshati. Yo
Yo
na
na
dveshti na
dveshti na
kankshati.
kankshati
Nirdvandvo hi mahabaho.
निर्द्वन्द्वो हि
Nirdvandohi
महाबाहो
Mahabaho
Sukham bandhat pramuchyate. Sukham
Sukham
bandhat
Bandhat
बन्धात्
Pramuchyate.
pramuchyate.
मुच्यते.
Can somebody read this?
I can read Mataji.
Yes.
Translation. One who neither hates nor desires the fruits of his activity is known to be always renounced. Such a person, free from all dualities, easily overcome material bondage and is completely liberated. O mighty armed Arjun. Hare Krishna. Do you want me to continue the purport, Mataji?
Let me just show you. So this here, this is the platform of a liberated person. So uh, one should know, okay, it should be known, Krishna is saying it should be known that Nitya Sannyasi, who always renounces what? The fruits of his work, okay? So basically, he's a karma yogi. He does not work for personal sense gratification or personal benefits, personal gains. Such a person, na dveshti na kankshasi. He does not desire or hates the fruits, okay? He's working in this world, but whatever fruits he gets, he does not want them, or he does not want them, and he does not hate them. If something comes out of the work, he takes it, he will offer it to Krishna. If something does not come, fine, that's also okay. This is what Krishna wanted. And such a person is nirdvandvo. Nirdvandvo. Dvandva word also please add to your vocabulary. Dvandva means dualities. Okay, this world is the world of dualities. Yesterday also we were talking about it. The duality means disturbances, ups and downs, like sukha and dukkha, success and failure, health or sickness, gain or loss. Like that, there will always be ups and downs, disturbances in this world. Okay, but this person is nirdvandvo. Okay, he is beyond these dualities. Oh, Mahabaho. Mahabaho is name for for Arjun, mighty armed one. Sukham bandhat parmuchyate. So he is completely liberated, free from bondage. So even though he's living in this world, but because he's a very devoted karma yogi, he does not want the fruits of his actions, and he does not abhor them either. Abhor means hates them either. He's not averse to them and he's not attracted to them. Okay. Such type of sannyasi is glorified here. So somebody who's working in service. Okay. And he's nirdvandvo, he's beyond the dualities of this world. He's not disturbed by success or failure or ups and downs or good and bad or sukha or dukkha. And he always remains sukha. Sukham, happily, he is situated on a liberated platform, on a spiritual platform, even though living in this world beyond the material bondage. Yes, Mataji, please read this.
One who is fully in Krishna consciousness is always a renouncer because he feels neither hatred nor desire for the result of his actions. Such a renouncer, dedicated to the transcendental loving service of the Lord, is fully qualified in knowledge because he knows his constitutional position in his relationship with Krishna. He knows fully well that Krishna is the whole and that he is part and parcel of Krishna. Such knowledge is perfect because it is qualitatively and quantitatively correct. The concept of oneness with Krishna is incorrect because the part cannot be equal to the whole. Knowledge that one is one in quality yet different in quantity is correct transcendental knowledge, leading one to become full in himself, having nothing to aspire to or lament over. There is no duality in his mind because whatever he does for Krishna. Being thus freed from platform of dualities, he is liberated, even in this material world. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Okay, so Mataji, if somebody works in knowledge, works with service, is a karma yogi, will he get any reactions? Positive or negative reactions?
Yes, yes, Mataji.
Karma yogi, will he get karmic reactions?
Anyone will reflect, you will see the results and you will affect even yogi also. No? No, Mataji?
So how can he be a yogi if he's getting affected?
Oh, that
So I'm
either.
saying, will he get, so every action has a reaction?
Yeah, I'm
Every
talking
action
about
has a
reaction
result.
only.
Every
Yeah,
action has a result, has a reaction, right?
correct, ma.
Will he get karmic reaction if he's working in service of Krishna? So karma yoga, what does word yoga mean?
Until if he's not thinking about that, or
He's karma yogi, Prabhuji. We are saying he's working in service of Krishna. So I'm going to call out on some people.
once
No,
you do,
Mataji.
once
No, Mataji, because he's
One
working
person
in
asked.
Krishna
Rekha
consciousness.
Mataji is answering. Yes, Mataji.
No, if he's working in Krishna consciousness mentality, then he will not get any creative actions or bondage.
Right. So if he's working in, so yoga, who can tell me what is the meaning of yoga? Let's hear from Hiral Mataji will tell. Mataji, what does word yoga mean? Because yoga word keeps coming, right? Karma yoga, bhakti
Yes.
yoga, buddhi yoga, sankhya yoga, what else? Gyan yoga, dhyan yoga, ashtang yoga,
Hare Krishna
Yoga
Mataji, shall I?
implies the process.
It's a union.
union. Okay, Nilveni Mataji is saying something.
Union with God, and usually it is like union with the breath, the conscious on our breath. It shows breath is nothing but God, right? So we are uniting with the God. We have conscious on our breath.
I don't know about breath being God, Mataji. I've not heard of that. But union with God is right. So yes, so yoga word comes from yunjite, meaning connecting with the divine, right? So consciousness meaning divine consciousness, not just, so spirit soul has consciousness, but connecting your consciousness with the supreme or divine consciousness. Yes, some people do it through breathing, that's different, or through their mind, or through chanting of holy names. But when you connect yourself to divine, to supreme through work, what is that called? So yoga we established is connecting with the Supreme, with the Krishna, with the Lord. That is yoga. Now, connecting yourself to Krishna through work. What is that called?
Karma yoga.
Karma
Yoga.
Karma yoga, right? So that is karma yoga. So if somebody is connecting to Krishna through their work, right? We talked about work being like a yagya, in which you are offering your mind, your senses, your intelligence, your talents, your time, your skills, everything into as oblation, as ahuti into the fire. Then that has become yoga, right? That has become union with the Supreme. So can such a union, karma yoga, generate you any karmic reaction?
Yeah, as per Bhagavad Gita or what as you were saying, no. But any yogi, even Krishna also face some reactions. For example, I am doing some karma, even though I'm thinking I don't want anything from them, from that situation, just I want to do the karma, but that pain I need to pay. Whatever the reaction I'm getting, I'm, but I'm not yogi then. So,
Right.
yeah.
So
But
you may be facing reactions in this life. The karmic reactions we do not know. We cannot see them. Okay. So it's not like a bank account that you can go into and see how much money you have. Okay. But Bhagavad Gita tells us that when one works in yoga, karma yoga, one works in service, then you do not get any reaction, whether positive or negative. Now, whatever you may be facing today, okay, happiness or distress, that's coming from your previous reactions, your accumulated reactions, your previous accumulated money of reactions. Okay, that is what you are suffering or enjoying right now. But as you keep working in Krishna consciousness, with the intention of service in yoga, you will not generate any more reactions. Okay, in future. So from now on, if you change your intention, your mindset of work to yoga, then you will not get any further reactions. Now, during this life, you may still be suffering or enjoying the previous reactions because we have accumulated a lot from previous lives or even from this life up till now. But our responsibility is that from now on, once we know this, have this knowledge, work in yoga. That is karma yoga. Is that point clear to everyone? So I'm hoping that point is Rekha Mataji, is that point clear?
Yes, Mataji.
Okay. Okay, perfect. So I don't know what I was speaking before then. I forgot. Okay, so yeah, so Krishna was saying in this verse that if you work like this, you will be beyond dualities. Okay, so beyond dualities, you will be on liberated platform. So such a person who is situated in this type of yoga, he will be not disturbed. Happiness and distress will still come, just like Ramchandra Prabhu was saying, because that's part of this, that's nature of this world. Okay. So happiness and distress may still come because of our previous problems or because of Krishna's arrangement. They may still come, but the yogi will not suffer. Yogi will not be distressed by them. He will not be disturbed by them. Okay. Externally, there may be problems. He will be aloof. He will be detached. Okay. People will complain. Other people will lament and cry and fall apart and become very arrogant or puffed up or joyous or disturbed, whatever. But he will remain sober, because he knows that he's just a servant of Krishna. Whatever is happening, positive or negative, is happening as a part of will of Krishna. So all his actions are aligned in the service of Krishna. Okay? So all our work, everything can be aligned in service of Krishna. Okay, so, and the other thing Prabhupada is, I'm not going into the next one because I think this is good for today. Other thing Prabhupada is saying is that everything comes from this knowledge. The reason Arjun was confused is because he said work with knowledge is same as work with devotion. How is that same? So let me ask someone. Let's see. I don't know who's aware. Sheetal Mataji. Is work with knowledge same as, can work with knowledge same as work with devotion, or let's say karma yoga? Can all these terms be used interchangeably in this context? Don't think too much, because I know you know a lot, so I don't want you to overthink it.
So Mataji, I'm sorry, what was your question?
Arjun was confused. You told me to work with knowledge.
Okay.
Is that same as work with devotion?
Knowledge has to be turned into wisdom. You have to act on it,
This is,
Mataji.
yes. So work with knowledge.
Work with knowledge, yeah. Knowledge and detachment, yes.
Yeah, knowledge, we mean self-realized knowledge only. We're not talking about this world's knowledge. We're talking about, so in this context, that's why I'm saying, okay, so let me explain. So Arjun said work with knowledge or work with devotion, they're same things, okay? Because when somebody has this knowledge that I am servant of Krishna, I am part and parcel of Krishna, will they not work in devotion to Krishna, in service of Krishna? So the knowledge of, you're again coming back to the original concept of identity. Once you know that I am part and parcel and servant of Krishna, you will work with that mentality. Okay, so work with knowledge means you will automatically start working in devotion. So once this concept, I am not this body, I am the soul, I am the servant of Krishna, I am part and parcel of Krishna. Once you have that knowledge, you will work with that knowledge, you will automatically be serving Krishna, you will start devoting your life to him. Okay, so this knowledge has to be very firmly fixed in our heart. So this is what Prabhupada said in this purport.
Yes, Mataji.
Yes.
A bhakti yogi is a karma yogi.
Right. So such knowledge is perfect because it means here. He knows his constitutional position, his relationship with Krishna. He knows fully well that Krishna is whole and that he is part and parcel of Krishna. So such knowledge is perfect. Okay. So once you have this knowledge, you will work with this knowledge and you will be a karma yogi. You will be a properly situated karma yogi. People that are, whenever we deviate, it is because we forget that we are part and parcel of Krishna. Whenever we get distracted and start working for ourselves, basically we are forgetting that we are part and parcel of Krishna. We are stealing for Krishna whenever we are working separate from Krishna. It's like a servant who was given $100 to buy something from grocery store for the master, but he forgets that this money is master's. He spends $10 out of that on himself. So then he's a miscreant. Then he immediately becomes deviated and he will get reactions, right? So that person will get reaction. But if he used all his $100 like a karma yogi, if he used all his karma, all his actions, everything in service of Krishna, then he will not get any reaction. But if you use that $10 out of $150, and some people are using all $100 on themselves, then they're just stealing from Krishna, then it's not yoga at all. That's why we keep getting confused, because it's hard for us to remember that we are servants of Krishna at all times. So the most important principle to know is always remember Krishna, never forget Krishna. Our whole problem is we are in this world because we forgot our relationship with Krishna. We forgot that we are part and parcel of Krishna. So we keep working for ourselves. We keep working for personal sense gratification. We keep deviating from yoga. We stop connecting with Krishna. And every time we stop connecting with Krishna, we fall out of Krishna consciousness and we get reactions. The more and more we can connect with Krishna, the more we are in yoga, the more we can remember Krishna, we will not get any reactions for those actions, for that part of our day, for that part of our existence. Is that clear? Anybody has any questions? So ultimately Krishna said, between Arjuna's doubt, renouncing the work is not very high. You can do that, but working with renunciation is higher. Working with renunciation is better. Okay. So hopefully we'll very deliberately start working in this world with renunciation. Okay, I'll ask one last question to just really hit this point home. Let me ask, is there any activity that karmis do in this world, okay, that does not generate reactions? Let's see. Rekha Mataji is our star student, so I'll ask her. Is there any activity that karmis or karmkandi people do in this world that will not generate any reactions? Regular people.
No.
Devotees.
No, Mataji.
Okay, no. Nilveni Mataji is sharing something.
Chanting japa.
Ordinary people, Mataji, not sadhakas. They are trying. Sadhakas are trying.
Okay.
That's different. Sadhakas are trying. So they are in and out. They are back and forth. They are struggling. Ordinary people, people that are not following a spiritual path, are they doing any activities that will not generate a reaction?
Only remembering God.
Yeah, remembering a God is spiritual activity. But is there any activity that they do? I mean, remembering a God is a very deliberate, it's a smarnam of Bhagwan, is a very direct devotional activity.
Will it be devotee worship, Mataji?
Mataji, they will get reactions, karmis.
So both of you were right. Rekha Mataji, you were right. You started second guessing yourself. But before you said it, no, they're not doing any activity that will not generate a. Every activity they are doing, they're generating a reaction. Even people are going to temple to ask things. Even people are doing some charity, some pious activity for something. So there is really the default setting of this material world is to get reactions. So you will, and actions we have to do. Everybody has to do action. It's like living in water, living in ocean, and saying that I will not get wet. So everybody has to work. Okay, we are living in water, we will get wet. We are living in this material world, we will have to do some action. And every action, the default setting is that it will generate a reaction. Okay, so by default, we are getting many, many reactions on a daily basis. Many, many reactions, karmic reactions we are collecting. Okay, unless you deliberately introduce Krishna consciousness in your life, a direct or indirect devotional activity in your life, you will not be free from these karmic reactions. So very deliberately, very intentionally, one has to do spiritual activities. Like you are here right now, very intentionally you had to make time, you had to think, okay, class hai 9 o'clock, I better go read Bhagavad Gita, right? Maybe I need to go to a temple. I will look at the DT darshan without any, just for the intention of pleasing Krishna. I will hear a class. I will read. I will improve my knowledge. I will chant the holy names. I will make bhoga for the pleasure and satisfaction of devotees and for the Supreme. Very deliberately, very intentionally, against the current of the world, against the tide of this world, you will have to swim to not get reactions. But default setting of this world is to get reactions. So that's why Prabhupada keeps saying that the only way to not get any reactions is to introduce Krishna consciousness. So if you try to stop doing some actions, just say renouncing work, which Arjun was asking, it is not possible. It will fall. It will fail. You will fall. It will not work because ultimately to maintain your body for somehow or other, you will have to do some work. That's why brahmacharis and sannyasis, it's not easy. The default setting is to work, to do some action, and you will get reaction. So you have to very, very actively introduce Krishna consciousness and spiritual activities in your life. That's the point I was trying to make. And Prabhupada mentions this many, many times that without Krishna consciousness, one cannot advance because one is not engaging in some positive activity. Okay, I think we can stop. Nagarjan Prabhu is sharing something.
Hare Krishna. Just to make that point more clear, I had another question for you. So what if I'm a physician, I go to work and I'm going to help people. I haven't done anything bad for anyone. And for me, work is worship. So that is also Karma Yoga, right?
No, I think we discussed that one. That's just karma. That's just karmi. That's just karma. You're just, you have to actively do it for Krishna. You have to actively do it as understanding that is why it is called work with knowledge. You have to do it as service for Krishna. You have to do it with the intention of pleasing Krishna. Otherwise, shram eva hi kevalam. Otherwise, so sam siddhir haritoshnam. You have to satisfy the Supreme Lord. It's like watering the roots. Unless you satisfy the roots, just watering the leaves, or somebody can start putting water on each and every petal. That's what that work is worship concept is like that. You're just putting water on each and every flower or each and every leaf, but you're not giving water to the roots. You have to give water to the roots for the plant to get nourished. So it doesn't matter, you will get reactions. So work is worship is a bogus concept created by the people who just want to enjoy in this world. That is still karmi platform. It is not yoga.
But I'm helping people. What about Nar Seva Hi Narayan Seva?
Well, I think Nagarjan Prabhu, you can answer those very clearly.
That was my first day questions, Mataji.
Nar Seva is
Then,
not Narayan Seva.
yeah, those are all my first day questions. Maybe Prabhuji is asking
Prabhu has gone
because
back
of
to day one.
others questions.
I
I
know
think
he's. I
Prabhuji
know.
knows.
I'm just yeah.
Prabhuji asking about my
Okay, I'll
question.
let somebody else answer then. Maybe Sheetal Mataji can
But
answer.
still, I'm thinking work is worship. For example, today Krishnastami, but I have work. I will even not a deliverable, but I can work instead of going temple. I will do my job.
That's
That's what
different.
I'm not taking leave also. I'm done.
That's different. That is not work is worship is a very it's a very worldly concept, okay? It's created by the people of this world who have nothing to do with self-realization. Or you are working so that you're not neglecting your responsibility because people depend on you, okay? Still keeping Krishna in center, maybe asking his forgiveness, maybe, so that is a very different mood. It's a change in consciousness. It is not externally visible. It is an internal mindset, internal purity of heart, change in your transformation of heart that is not externally visible. Externally, a devotee is also working, you are also working, okay? But, or not you, some other person is also, you're working, you're a devotee, and some other person is also working. The other person is working because they want to make money, because they don't want to, for some reason, right? They are picking up shifts, things like that. But you are somewhere deep in your heart remorseful that I wish I could celebrate Krishnashtami. I wish Krishna would put me in a situation where one day I can be in association of devotees this day. Maybe I can fast better that day. Maybe I can read, chant, and hear and be in direct devotional activities that day. But today I'm in this position where I can only do this indirect devotional activity and I will offer my work to the Supreme, right? So there are some direct devotional activities, some indirect devotional activities. Karma yoga is an indirect devotional activity. So you are doing an indirect devotional activity, whereas a karmi person, ordinary person, has no devotional inclination at all. They do not have Krishna in their frame of mind at all, right? You have this somewhere in your frame of mind, this little bit of hesitation that I wish I could be with devotees today. They'll be chanting, dancing, hearing, reading, so much festivities for Krishna's appearance will be going on. But Krishna, please bring me to such a platform where I don't have to work so hard on such a day. Please arrange somehow in future, right? So that is a very different mindset. This is not externally visible. Nobody can comment. It's your internal desire. Okay, it's your internal consciousness and mindset. Our desires, our mindset, our consciousness, our transformation of character, this will be very, very deep and very internal. It will not be externally visible to people. So sometimes people, your family, let's say, if they're not following, some people may mock you, okay? That's where we have to stay grounded and in association of devotees that do not get deviated or distracted when people try to discourage you, okay?
And
So
another question from Prabhuji. Madhav Seva, Manav Seva, Madhav Seva. But some of my friends, instead of going to temple, we will serve for the people.
yes.
Both are same, Mataji.
Again,
Prabhuji.
Prabhuji, what is their
Prabhuji is just like
intention?
the caste
Yes.
because
What
of new giants.
the
Prabhuji, yeah.
the question is, what is their intention? You can ask their
Intention is
intention.
intention. Why we
You
are
will not
praying
know,
the
Prabhu. Even you will not know. Only they know what is their intention. Only
okay.
they know. Only they know. So we have
But
to be very
I'm
clear
not.
with ourselves. I cannot comment on your intention. People go to temple also with wrong intentions. And people may be doing charity with the right intention. People may be going to, so let's say somebody is going to temple with wrong intention and somebody is going to work with right intention. So the intention is not something anybody can comment on. So if their
Hare
But
intention
Krishna.
is to get some name, they want followers, they want to be known for this charity, they want some thanks and gratitude in at
So,
some
so,
point,
um,
then
so
it's
let me clarify this one thing.
hmm.
Let us say they are going perfectly in the right in means as material world consciousness. They are not doing it for any personal um, goodness. They just want to help people as a charity. They some people make hospitals, some people make schools, all those things. Some people give langar or just to feed people. So then the concept comes, Prabhuji, that so Nar Seva as Narayan Seva is a wrong concept. Very clear. Okay. They may be doing it for the best of their intentions, unless it is for serving Krishna. It is not equal to Narayan Seva. It may be something that will give them pious credits. It is good in a way that it is in a mode of goodness. It will still keep them bound to the cycle of birth and death. It is like the golden chain we talk about. It's still going to keep you bound because they will have to come to get. So in some life, they will have to reap the benefits of that they gave some donation or something like that, unless it is directly for the purpose of to please Krishna, to
Let me
please the Supreme Personality of
tell you
Godhead.
that story, Nagarjuna Prabhu. You can say that story because the story makes it very easy. Last time we mentioned that story of a child
Yes, we
lost
talked
in
about
the
that. That concept also comes. That
child lost in the festival. Okay.
yeah, go ahead.
So he's lost in a crowded place, okay? And he's got separated from his parents, okay? He's very dirty, he is very sick. He has, let's say, some lice in his hair, and he got some cuts or scrapes on his body. He's starved because he did not get any food. So then some person will come and give him, let's say, some clothes to wear. The other person comes and he gives him some medicine for his cuts and scrapes. Some person helps him shampoo his hair so he can be rid of the lice. Some person comes and gives him a blanket, right? All these things are good. They're fine, right? But then a person comes who takes him to his father. That service was the best because he took him to the source of where now he's not suffering anymore, right? So that was an overarching, all enveloping service he did to the child, which will take care of all the other small needs of the child. So charity, nar seva, we are not denigrating it. We are not saying that we're not minimizing it. Okay, it is important. It has its own value. Okay, so yes, we should be doing charity. There are social workers, philanthropic workers, we should be, people need to be materially comfortable. People need to have basic food, housing, clothes, education, right? Hospitals, medical services. We should help with all these things. No doubt about it. Okay. But there are two things. One, when we do this type of charity, especially as devotees, we should be doing it not for any motive of fame, name, gains, etc. Number one, very basic. That's very basic. That should not be in our consideration. But more importantly, it should not just be out of moral goodness. It should be done knowing this is my service to Krishna. I'm not doing this as a worldly need. I'm doing this because this person needs to go, in order to go back to Godhead, he needs to be materially comfortable. In this body, this person is suffering. He is in this position, which is very low position, and I have resources that were given to me by Krishna. I should use those resources, Krishna's property, to help Krishna's child, another child of Krishna. I am not part of this equation at all. I am just an instrument, right? I'm using the wealth, which is not mine. My wealth, which I think is mine, is actually Krishna's wealth. I'm using that wealth to support this child who is also not mine. He is Krishna's child. I'm using Krishna's property to serve Krishna's child. So, very deliberately including Krishna in the service, doing it for him with that mindset. And secondly, not in putting yourself in the midst of this in any way at all. Okay. Even in your subtle body, even not taking credit on a mental level. Okay. Forget about external level, even mental level. So this, and then second problem with this concept of nar seva is people in the world who like to do mundane charity, okay, mundane means ordinary charity, just for moral goodness, they deride Narayan seva. They say that we should just build hospitals and not temples. So then it's a problem if you say that in the name, the charity or nar seva is more important than Madhav seva or kya bolte hain? I can't remember. Because
Narayani.
nar seva is important, but so is this service. This service is also important. So they say that sadhus are not doing anything, or spiritually learned people, they're not, they're just fake or they're bogus. So to a doctor is saying, like in COVID times, there were all these posts on Facebook, very shameful posts by many doctors who were saying that temples are closed, but hospitals are open. Huh? But who gave you the talent to be a doctor? Who gave you the resources? Who gave you the parents that encouraged you to become a doctor? Who allowed the hospital to stay open, right? Who is giving you this service? How do you think you are capable of doing a service? Who is the person that's enabling you to do that service? That supreme person they're deriding. So when we deride Narayan Seva directly and uphold Nar Seva, that is a problem. Okay, so some people in name of Nar Seva deride Narayan Seva. So they very shamefully they are writing, but who made you the doctor? Why do you think, where is this skill coming from? Right? So this is the mindset that we should always remember who we are. That's why keep saying, remember your constitutional position. Remember you are a servant of Krishna. Remember that everything you have needs to be engaged in service of Krishna. Don't just do it for worldly good. Do it as his servant. Then you don't get reactions. But worldly, if you do things, you will get reactions. You'll get positive, pious reactions, but you will get reactions. We don't want any reactions. So probably subtle concepts, right? Change of mindset, like tuning the radio. So these people are sattvic people. They're in mode of goodness. That's why they're helping others. But they need to go to beyond Satoguna to transcendence, to divine platform. Because Satoguna is also a guna of this world. It's like Nagarjuna Prabhu was saying, it's a chain. It's a golden chain. You're not harming someone, you're helping someone. So it looks like it's a very good principle because you're helping someone, but you're still bound in golden chain. In order to free yourself from chain, you have to come to service or divine platform. So transcendence or spiritual platform is beyond the three gunas, even beyond Satoguna.
Thank you very much. I think that explained it very well. Thank you for clarifying. And one more thing I'll just mention quickly, not controversial, just to mention that one thing that sometimes helps me realize this is a slightly different concept, which is fasting. So a lot of people do fasting, right? But why you do fasting changes the reactions to that completely. Somebody may do it for material benefits, for a husband, for a good life, for a good for money,
Politicians do Anshan.
right? Yeah. So the cause, the intention depends on it. Somebody may be just fasting on a day, like let's say, I won't complicate it, but yeah, somebody may just be fasting because they don't have food, right? A beggar is also fasting. So but it doesn't give the same amount of benefit that you get if you are doing it intentionally, because it is a, let's say, Ekadashi or Madhav Tithi, and you're doing it for that reason, right? So there are two people. One is a devotee fasting specifically, let's say on a Janmashtami, for as a, that this is my I'm sacrificing
Basically,
something for
actively
you.
insert
Sacrifice is a
Krishna.
yagna,
Actively
any
inserting
yagna.
Krishna.
Yeah. So actively inserting Krishna. So versus somebody is a beggar is not having food and is fasting. Yes, they may get some benefit because it's such an auspicious day, but it is not the same as what a devotee will get. So that is what I'd say. Hare Krishna.
Anyways, I think we should stop because we've exceeded the time. I know questions will keep coming and it's good to have questions, but we'll continue next time. Thank you everyone for joining. We'll continue next Sunday. Very, very grateful to each and every one of you. Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki jai, Jagadguru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. All glories to the assembled devotees, all glories, all glories, all
Hare
glories. Shri
Krishna.
Guru and Gauranga. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Kripa Sindhuvescha, Kripa Sindhuvescha, Patna Pavane
Hare
Vaishnava.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Happy